If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC now recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Sports Card Nation, the hobby is the people. Weekly news and interviews, it's your number one source. Sports Card Nation, the hobby is the people. Sports Card Nation.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 318 of Sports Card Nation podcast. Glad to be back on the airwaves once again. Thank you out there for downloading, listening, wherever you are. You don't have to, but yet you do. And we wouldn't exist without you. So, heartfelt thanks to you. Part 2 today of our conversation with Alex Tressler, ArmyATC22, one of the busier men in the hobby with his hobby schedule and hitting the show circuit. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, the national, and chop up some other hobby things. So we're going to take a quick 30-second break, and then we'll be back with Alex Tressler.
Hi, I'm Isaac Alpert, a longtime card collector and the co-founder of the Penny Sleever. My wife and I started the Penny Sleever with a simple premise in mind: to offer collectors top quality supplies at fair prices. We offer a full range of hobby supplies, and we'll get them to you fast. Whether you're looking for a 260-point magnetic for that oversized patch card, or a slew of semi-rigids for your next PSA submission, the Penny Sleever has you covered. Shop now at thepennysleever.com and use the promo code SCNation to get 10% off your first order. That's SC Nation for 10% off at thepennysleever.com. The Penny Sleever. Top quality supplies, fair prices.
Okay, here is the second part of my conversation with Alex Tressler. We pick up right here talking about the show grind and the amount of shows he does. Enjoy. About how many shows are you at per year?
I originally put out that I didn't want to do more than one a month, and it turns into probably at least 2. I would say, I'd say about 24. I mean, because I think some months might be like 3, so which averages out because like December's is only one, and everything else like that. I'd probably say like 24 to 25, maybe a year.
Yeah, and that's a lot, especially if they're not all local, and then obviously they're not. In your case, so that include whether it be driving or flying, and anyone that's been in the national for the whole week knows the wear and tear that takes on you, right? The steps and the walking and that sort of thing, and even in a 2 or 3 day show, there's wear and tear,
There is, and we can revert back to what we were saying about giving people vacations, right? If you go to these shows for flying around, if you're flying to Dallas, if you're flying to LA to go to the West Coast Card Show, formerly known as the Burbank Card Show, if you're flying to CSA, you're flying to New York to go to the East Coast National, you're going to the National, you're going to be in Chicago for the next. When you leave the show, yes, there's going to be trade nights all over the place. There's going to be so much stuff going on. Go see the city. Right? Go out, and if you already did the one part of getting to there, you have the hotel, go vacation a little bit, right? Get your mind off things, go see what they have. Maybe, hey, look up some stuff for the city. Hey, what's Chicago have to offer? A lot of people, if you do the research right now, because I've already started doing it, is the White Sox have a homestand in the beginning of the week, and the Cubs have a homestand at the end of the week. The Cubs are playing the Orioles, and the White Sox are playing the Phillies, all during the national going on. Go head up a game. Go get some, Chicago dogs. Go try the deep dish pizza. Go see, some of the tallest buildings in the country there, and everything. Go see the cities you're going to on top of it, and overall you're getting refreshed and come in the next day ready to rock. So yeah. So traveling around and stuff. It's funny is because people see me travel everywhere and stuff, and there's not a lot where I'm getting on the plane. Like I drive a lot of places, a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of local shows that are within a couple hours kind of range. It's kind of what I deal with and everything. And then of course I do go a little bit farther out for the Philly show. I'm going to be doing the White Plains show in January. I'm actually going to go up there and to that, and try hopefully to get over to Nashville and everything else. I want to do a couple other ones, a little bit Midwest. I need to go see my boys RBI Crew 7, Ryan and Neil over there in the St. Louis area. So it's fun. Like I enjoy it. But it's a toll.
Yeah, and and I don't mean that, and I think not necessarily in a bad way. It's just that's just normal wear and tear that's going to happen. I don't care if you're just going on a regular vacation. You always hear people say, "I need a vacation from my vacation. I'm tired," right? So it's just it comes with the territory. And a great point by you, Alex, with whatever city you're in for whatever show. The show doors close. Catch a ball game, go to dinner, try the local fare. I know Ryan from Breakout Cards. He's a music guy like I am. Besides sporting events, which I try to go to, I even see, hey, there are any bands in town just by coincidence that I like and want to see. I haven't had it happen yet, but I've definitely been to some ball games, dinner with friends, and all that stuff. It's a great point too. Is even though it might be with someone who's in the hobby like us, it's something different than the hobby. It's sort of, like you said, you come in recharged the next day, energized, and whatnot. I'm not a trade night guy, so when the show ends, like I'm looking for that, whether it be dinner or in Chicago, White Sox Cubs game. In Cleveland, I went to an Indians Tigers game last year. So the night doesn't end. It's just the show ends.
You're a music guy. Did you go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame while you were there?
I did. I actually did. That was the first thing we did before getting to that. I came in a day earlier to check that off the bucket list.
We came in a few days earlier, and we went to the Guardians game the night before, but earlier that day we were actually at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We went down to Canton and actually, took that little 45-minute drive, down to Canton, and we went to that. So it was pretty cool and everything. It's you just got to find those things. You said you're not a trade night guy. I am. I love being amongst the people. I'm the people person. I want to hear the stories. I want to see the people interacting with everybody and stuff like that. And that's why I've gotten really in with the national and helping them with their trade nights, moving forward and stuff, because I just want the best experience for all these collectors. These thousands of collectors is going to be in this one room and just seeing them all, wheeling and dealing and talking and chatting up, and maybe celebrities coming in or athletes coming in, and just the excitement in their faces and stuff, like all night long after they just did it all day long around the corner and inside the main halls and stuff. Now these are collectors with collectors, because a lot of the vendors don't go. So a lot of the vendors, because they're all day wheeling, they're like, we don't need to go to that. And these are the collectors one-on-one, having a good time.
Yeah, and just I have nothing against them. I don't want to come as like anti.
No,
it's just it's not my scene, and I don't want to say it's not my scene, but at that point, I want to go to a sporting event or dinner and like try to be winding down 10, 11 o'clock. This just as well. Some of these trade nights are going 2, 3 in the morning.
I had one of my best profit flips at the Chicago National 2 years ago. With Jay Mojo Sports called me up at like 2:30 in the morning saying, "Hey, we're still going strong. Come on over here." So I took the Uber back over to his hotel, and there's like 10 people in the lobby that were dealing. And someone came up, and I did a quick deal for $200 for a card, and within 24 hours, I made $2,000 profit on card.
Yeah, that's cool. Like I said, I don't have anything against it. I just these old
Everyone's
bones.
different.
The younger version of me could take that on. The older version of me, I got to be snoring at that time. And
But now
or the next day, I could do it, Alex. But the next day, I'm going to be in no shape to make
no, and with me doing work for these shows and stuff like that now and everything, trust me, I'm changing. I don't want to be here till freaking 3 a.m. because I know in 5 hours I have to be up there, hopefully shooting, some content of them, people coming in the doors to, something's happening at the Tops booth or anything else and stuff like that, right? I got to be on my toes, especially if, these companies, these bigger companies and the whole show as a whole wants me there doing that stuff. Like as much fun as I want to have all night long, especially in Chicago, because you got Rivers Casino right down the road, right, too. That's where the whole, if everyone listening right now, if you want to find where everyone is, if they're not at a trade night, they're all at Rivers Casino gambling that night. And you might run into a few athletes there gambling too. Just gonna give you that little heads up too. But yeah, it's just like I just turned 43, and I'm not as young as as 3/4 of the people that are out at those shows and stuff like that. So, I gotta tone it back as much as I want to go hard in the paint. I gotta tone it back to myself.
Yeah, I got 9 years on you. If I'm up at 3 o'clock, I can't go at that point. I'm not going to go to sleep because that'll do more damage. That'll do more damage than good. I might as well just stay awake and just grind it out. But yeah, the 52-year-old version of me is not the same as 35-year-old version of me. I like to convince myself otherwise, but my body says no soup for you. So
no soup for you. Great. So Seinfeld's one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah, and when your last name's Newman, you better like Seinfeld. And you're from New York City. So your last name's Newman and you're originally from New York City, you better like Seinfeld. Because if I had a nickel for every hello Newman I get, I'd be retired already. So there you go. But yeah, I really, I appreciate you, sharing that too. I think, I think most people know. I don't want to paint with a broad brush, Alex. I think most people know the work you put in and others and whatnot. But I think there's the reason I like to talk to someone who does that and have them kind of talk about that is for the ones that really don't realize. They think it's just 100% fun and it's like Star Trek and you just teleport to wherever you're supposed to be, and then it's difficult sometimes leaving the show and getting to another area, whether it be by Uber or mass transport or even your own vehicle. Like I drove to Cleveland and we had for different things. So there's a lot that goes into planning your itinerary, and yes, it's fun. I'm not sitting here for having a pity party for people putting in the work. I just want them to get sort of that deserved credit for the grind and the wherewithal to get all this stuff done and provide that content. So that's kind of where I'm coming.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. A lot of people don't realize, so many people just like, man, you're posting every day. You got a video every day on Instagram. You're putting stuff on TikTok. You're doing all this stuff. Like, how do you have the time for this? I'm like, look at the videos, right? How many of these videos do I have the same outfit, right? I'm putting so much, it's a lot of video capturing different things at one show or at one time. And it's just spread off throughout, months and weeks and everything, right? There's this is if anyone's into content creation and stuff like that, right? Like this time of year is normally the one that's hardest to, if there's no shows going on, nothing's happening, don't know what's really to do for content creation. This is where all your backloaded stuff that you could have be like, oh, I wanted to do this. It's, now you can bring that video forward, cut it and crop it and put it out there. I I have had times where I sat in where I do a lot of my videos and stuff on my dining room table. I'll take like 5 shirts and like 10 hats, and I mix and match, and I just in my mind I want to do this, and this. I'll bulk record. I'll do this and this and this and this, and it's all saved for rainy days, for times where you just, all right, I already have this already done. I don't really want to do anything else, just to keep the consistency going. Right. And that's where a lot of the grind is. It's behind the camera, the editing aspect and stuff like that. And over time, you get better at it. You have fun with it. And I've enjoyed finding templates and everything else, and music that to be added to it, and other little clips and stuff like that. How can this be funny, and everything else like that? That's why, like, a lot of my stuff is hodgepodge of this and that and this and that. I'm all over, because I just, like, I'm gonna post something that I feel I'd want to see, right? And hopefully, the audience that watches my stuff would want to see it too.
Yeah, it's a great point, and I've gotten a little bit better at that. Is kind of doing a bunch of stuff, like pick a day and maybe really tackling some content creation and knocking a bulk out of it in one day rather than even every day, if you will. You do a better job with the set changes and clothing changes, though. Anyone that sees me, it might be the same shirt or hat. So hats off to you there.
This is like the one time that I'm not like I'm a walking billboard. Like, everyone gives me their shirts and their hats and stuff, and I'm constantly switching around, supporting so many different people, because and not one person's paying me to wear it, right? Recently, Mantle, the new app just recently started up. I mean, they already had the website and everything. They just launched the app. Evan Parker sent me. I mean, he was just on yours.
Yeah.
Right. He sent me the hat to wear, because I met him back at the National and everything else this past year. Gave me one of his hat actually at Fanatics Fest, and I wear it all the time. And he's seen it in the videos, right, and everything.
Yeah.
I'm not getting paid for that, right? I tell everyone,
and that's a good thing. That's a good thing,
Yeah.
because it's organic, and you like the platform, right? And now I'm a very transparent person. We have sponsors on this very podcast but I would never have a sponsor that I don't use or wouldn't use. And I've said
that's
no.
the way you should be.
I've said no. And I've had someone ask me, "You're saying no?" Like, yeah,
Yes.
I don't,
because you
I
have to
don't take it personal.
back it. You have to back it. If
I
you
don't want to
feel
be a
in your
shill.
mind, yes. If you believe in your mind, you don't believe in that product or brand or whatever like that. There's no, don't. Just because they're offering some money and stuff like that, you're not selling yourself, right? You don't want to. So and then that's awesome.
Yep.
Time to hear from one of our great sponsors, but Sports Card Nation will be right back after that.
Iron Sports Cards is your #1 source for all your PSA and other grading submissions. Their elite status improves turnaround times. Heck, they even provide the card savers. Their chat rooms provide updates on all your submissions. They also offer wax options and single cards to cover all the bases. Check them out on Facebook at Iron Sports Cards Group, or on the web at ironsportscards.com, or even give them a call at 1-877-IRON-PSA. Rob's got you covered.
Let's go! You are listening to the Sports Card Nation podcast.
We touched on the National a little bit. It's under new leadership. The one in Cleveland that happened near the end of July, front end of August, was their first, not their first show, but their first national under their belt. I enjoyed Cleveland, the city itself as well. Like you said, you got the Rock and Roll Hall. I think I said Indians earlier. It's Guardians. I still do that. Probably always will at some point or another. But went to a Guardians Tigers game. But the show itself, I thought was very well put on. I know people complained about traffic. Again, I'm a transparent person. Having a media badge, I was there very early, so I've sort of avoided some of the stuff other people were complaining about. So maybe I'm not the best guy to talk about it. Wi-Fi just seems to be an issue regardless of city. I'm not an IT guy, but I really enjoyed Cleveland. I know people are saying that might be the last time we see it there. I hope that's not the case. I'm a little spoiled because I can drive to Cleveland, Alex. I can't drive to Chicago, and I know, you said,
same.
yeah, we're going to have Chicago. Yeah, the next 3 years. And I know Chicago's a great venue. I'm not picking on Chicago from that vantage point. I'm just saying from an east to get to, it's going to cost me more because I'm going to fly rather than drive, and that sort of thing. But what did you think of the first go around for that new leadership group and the national itself?
I thought of course, they've been around the industry for a while. They just so happened to take it over finally from the old regime, and I think they fell into it and kept a lot of the same procedures, policies, and stuff that the previous years and everything. You can see a little differences of maybe upgrades here and there and some things, more modern type of stuff. I think they did a good job. Cleveland as a whole. Same way. I had to drive. I drove there. So I'd have the vehicle to get around because knowing the distance. A lot of people didn't know that. The hotels weren't right there next to it. Chicago, the next 3 years, you're within walking distance of like a million different hotels right there to Rosemont, to the convention center and everything, which is great. And the Ubers are a little bit easier right there too. But the venue inside, and I think the people that had the VIP passes probably say they loved it the most. If you went downstairs to the VIP room, which was pretty much the whole bottom of the show, underneath you, there was
I
a
almost
show within a
felt,
show.
not to cut you off, I almost felt like it was a secret level.
It was
like that. Not everybody knows.
It was a show within a show. Like it was technically a trade day all day long downstairs. They had stuff, people on the stage doing stuff throughout the day, but all the tables were filled with people wheeling and dealing, talking sports. And a lot of people didn't know that the food line down there was like this small compared to the food lines upstairs, like this small, this big. I think,
and the bathroom line
the
is,
line was
you walk right in.
Yes, non-existent. So I think having a venue recreate like that experience for the VIP individuals, right? Chicago can't do that because like right now they're trying to do the same. They want the VIP room, and if you're in Chicago 2 years ago, that the Luddick's VIP room was a lot smaller. It was a lot smaller compared to the VIP room last year. So they're trying to continue on with the same type of area, bigger area. This year's coming up in future, and that's one of the things I'm helping with a little bit, trying to figure that out. Are they going to have a big area like they're going to have the national trade nights like they did this past year, and then just push everyone out and then bring them back in because the VIP room, and you're going to have a lot of different stuff there. They're doing what I'm saying. I think having that bigger area was incredible below, but like you said, it was like a hidden room that most people, if you didn't have the VIP badges and stuff, you couldn't get down there. Like you didn't know, and until it was like the trade nights every night, that people was like, where was this? What this was going on down there the whole time. So overall, breaking is become big in the industry. So the whole whatnot area in the back, I'm telling you, when I first walked in there and I saw the screen whatnot had, and I thought I was at like at a casino in the sports book area. All the people were breaking on there at once. I think the layout was good, right? They had all corporates in one side and all the vendors and and everything laid out. I think they're trying to figure out the analytics sides, where the people should be and stuff, and more of that's happening, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, and keep in mind, I'll defend them a little bit right there. Well, it's not their first foray into putting on a show. It's their first foray into putting on a national, and that's the Super Bowl of shows, right? And you're talking about an event, right? There's dealers that can't get tables. That there's a waiting list. I think there's more people every year in the hobby that are attending these nationals or wanting to or trying to. So it's a big task, and so for their first their first year on the job, if you will, as far as the national goes, I thought it was pretty good. I could nitpick, year two, when maybe I'll be a little bit more like, all right, let's see what they learned or didn't learn, and how they adapted, and what they're they've already made a decision like to get more dealer table space and get some people off that waiting list. So that's nice. As someone who is a dealer, I'm glad to see that. And I'm not on that list. I'm just saying, as a dealer, it's good to see like some people getting a table rather than not. That list maybe being a little shorter. So They got a lot on their plate. It's good that they're listening to people, Alex, rather than sort of have tunnel vision or think they have all the answers, because no one has all the answers. But together, right, if we work together and pick various brains, right, maybe we can come up with some new ideas, new solutions, and different ways to approach something, right, to make it better and make it a better experience. So, but the national, it's kind of the national is always to me going to be, the Super Bowl, the hobby. I don't know if I'm the first one to say that. Maybe I'm not. I don't know, but that's how I look at it. Right? It's that week we circle on our calendars every year to buy some cards, for some people to obviously sell some cards, to get together with hobby friends and hobby family,
Yep.
and see each other, maybe see someone for the first time or see someone again this year. And no matter who's in charge of it, that will never not be, to me, never not be the case. And but again, it's good that they're taking some input from people on the ground level or in the trenches, as I like to say, that kind of have their finger on the pulse of what's going on. And I think that's important. And I think you need that. I think there could be issues when you don't use that card in your deck. So glad to hear that they're doing that.
Yeah, one of the most important things about the national and everything, because I'm getting ready to start my my road to the national, tips and tricks and stuff like that. Do it every year, and everything. Kind of, it'll be repetitive each year, but there's a lot of new individuals that weren't following me before or new to the industry. Maybe the first time they're going to the national, they want to see this stuff or whatever. Like right now, we're 7 months away from 7 months, right?
It's crazy.
Preparation, right? Going out and maybe buying your ticket now if you have a little bit extra funds, putting the funds away, figuring out where you're going to stay, everything else, getting your tickets right now and everything, right? And I got to bring it up a little bit, right? Because the whole Fanatics Fest and the national and stuff like that. I want people to understand, yes, I work for the national. I've done stuff for Fanatics and everything else like that too, and I'm probably going to be at Fanatics Fest also the month prior. Fanatics Fest is a fan festival. It is not a card show. It just so happened to have cards at it. The National is a card show. All right. Don't compare. Try not to compare the two. There's so many people that are comparing the two, and you can't. That is two completely different experiences. When Fanatics, if they ever get to that role, has Panini, Leaf, all the card companies, anything that deals with the hobby at Fanatics Fest, now you can start comparing it to the national. But until then, I don't think they ever will get there. You can't compare the two. They're two different experiences. So you're going to have a lot of individuals that are going to say, I'm going to go to New York for Fanatics Fest and not go to the national. If you're into this hobby, like, you got to try to figure out how to get to both. Honestly, like if you want to experience, and I'm telling you, it's the Fanatics Fest experience was just incredible with the wrestling intros and everything else. But the national, it's the granddaddy of them all, right? And everything. That's where everyone knows. Circle on your calendar, the end of July, beginning of August. You are coming together to do this with your friends. You're going to go out with your friends that you talk to online all day, that you chat with all day, that you troll every day, right? And everything else like that. You get to go see your favorite, if you're into breaking, your favorite breakers are there and stuff like that. The hobby personalities that are roaming around, be able to get to see them for the first time, right? And then on top of all the athletes are there signing. There's some athletes that never signed before, that are at these shows, that and everything else like that. There's the people, like so many people also forget about. You have that area where the signers are. They forget about the front area guest. You got stars like the guy from American Pie, and what was the rookie of the year, that guy, that he played in it. I forget his name. He's really big into going to the shows. Jason Page, the voice of the Pokemon, original theme song. He's always there out front. These people, you don't have to wait in line for. I mean, you wait in their little line, but you don't have to get tickets. They're right there along the autograph rows out front. That so many forget about these celebrities. The Sandlot cast, they're usually, a few of them are there chilling and everything. I got to meet them at the CSA show the last show. It was pretty cool. These are the people, like, you just don't realize until you're there in front of you, like, oh my gosh, like, hold on, love that movie. I watched that movie so many times. Now I get to actually interact with you. You're not gonna be able to do that anywhere else. Like, it is legit the area of like a Comic-Con right outside of the National. But I mean, you got all the exclusives with the National. You got the, the trade nights. You got everything. The world's your oyster there. Right now, 7 months out, 200 and some days, you should be preparing. If not, just putting a list of, I need to pay for my hotel, my flight, this by this date, this date, this date. I want to get my tickets. I want to get this or whatever. I've already seen they announced that, this person's signing, this person's signing, get tickets to that. Do your stuff now instead of waiting till the last minute.
Yeah, no doubt. 7 months goes quick. Look, it
Real
seems
quick.
like we just finished the one in Cleveland, and that was 5 months. It doesn't feel like 5 months. It feels like it was yesterday, right? And so in another 5 months, we'll be 2 months out. Like in Chicago, you make a great point. The hotels are closer to the venue, but they sell out quick. You don't want to. You're not going to get a good hotel or a close hotel waiting in the last month or two. So you really want to book that now. It's a great point by you. Another great point you make, Alex. Fanatics Fest and the National are different events, and they both might be great, but they're different events. I think it's sometimes unfair that we compare them to each other. I haven't been to a Fanatics Fest yet, even though it's basically in my hometown. I haven't got to one. I was 50-50 on getting to this year. I couldn't make it happen, but
people
like you
don't
said,
realize. People don't realize
ahead.
you're in New York. You're still what, 5 hours from New York City, being in Syracuse.
Oh
right?
Yeah.
It's not right there, but it's from your hometown where you grew up. But where you're at in New York now, it's still a nice little drive for you.
Yeah, and it wasn't even the drive. It wasn't even the drive, Alex. In this case, it was. I just had some other stuff going on that I couldn't squeeze it in. It would have been just too difficult, too stressful. But I definitely, it's on my list to go to at least one, see what it's about. And but it's a great point that these are not the same type of shows, and going to one isn't the same as going to the other. And I really appreciate you're pointing that out, because that's what everyone who's went to both will attest to. So, well, listen, Alex, I appreciate you coming on, sharing some of what you do and the work you put into it. I always give the guests sort of the last word here. Anything you want to share, socials, website, whatever it is, throw it out there so people can see the content that you're creating and what you're doing.
All right, John, I really appreciate you having me on and everything. Again, like we discussed before, prior to even hitting record, like I can sit here and talk hours. I can keep going on and on and on. But majority of places where you can find
well,
me,
we'll have you back. Watch what you say, because now you're
Yeah.
officially invited back. But go ahead.
I got come in studio, right? I need to take the drive up there and
Well,
do the
listen,
studio.
we'll do something. Maybe we'll do something in Chicago. So
100%. I'd be down for that always. You can find most of my stuff these days right now on Instagram. It's a lot of short form type of content. Occasionally I put some longer stuff on there or whatever. A lot of people don't know this, maybe breaking news like this new year, we're into the new year already. I'm going to be starting YouTube videos back up. And again, this is I'm not going to have a crew with me. That is, it's a double-edged sword, see camera crews following someone and everything else like that. I don't want to be that person, but at the same time, I want to be that person because I'm not going to show the transactional side. I'm not going to show the deals constantly. I'm going to show the hobby, the people, the community, the stories and everything else, the educational aspect, talking to individuals, asking them questions and having them ask me questions. That's the type of stuff I want to get out there, right? Will they get a lot of engagement? Who knows? Do I care? I don't, right? I'm just doing this for fun. I like putting it out there. This is a lot of people. I didn't say it in the beginning. I literally did this to get away from my real life. Back in 2008, going through the bad divorce and everything, it's always been an avenue to get away from everyday life. And now it's turning into
it's an outlet.
Yes, now it's turning into a little bit more of the everyday life on top of getting away from everything. So you can find me mainly on there. I do push out a lot of stuff over to TikTok too. How much longer it's going to be there, we don't know. Right now, it might not be there. in a few weeks, but it's on there. You know, the algorithms are different, but I do have a bigger following on Instagram and then YouTube. They're all under the same username, ArmyATC22. If you see anywhere, if you see Whatnot Fanatics Live, you know, any of the forums, anything else, if you see ArmyATC22, that's me. I got them everywhere, on Mantle, on everything. I went and quickly, hey, a new thing came out, let me get it real quick, making sure no one else steals it. Some people have, they tried to, not fast enough.
Yeah, I
And
believe it.
so, and if you didn't know, I should have started this in the beginning. I was in the Army. I was an air traffic controller, so that's the ATC, and 22 is my lucky number. That's how I came up with my handle 16, 17 years ago. But you know, all the social
So don't
media.
steal it. Don't
Yeah.
steal it because it's
Don't
personal.
steal it. All the social media, you know, you can find me on there. You'll see a lot of the interviews I have with athletes. I do at shows. You know, I go to the CSA show, Philly show. I'm in the back room. I do some interviews with athletes, and a lot of times I'm doing a lot of content asking them about veterans. You know, that was my original hook to get into the back rooms and stuff like that, to do media work. And was just like, I want to talk to these athletes about, you know, hey, maybe their parents were in the military, they did something with the USO, you know, maybe they had kids that joined the military, that maybe they went to the military academy and stuff like that, you know. So the CSA show and the PR team really liked that angle, right? Because on top of that, I'm doing a lot of show floor stuff too, showing, you know, the collectors and stories and everything else. And it's just grown from there. And I'm still doing, like, when I get the lists of names from individuals that are coming to these shows that are signing athletes, I do my deep dive in every single one, see if anyone had the mother, father, you know, whatever. Like at the last CSA show, I got to sit down with Larry Zonka. I sat down with Larry Zonka. It was like for almost an hour, but on film was like 7 minutes. I mean, you Syracuse alum, right? And
I
he
was
was
gonna
telling.
say he's a legend here in Syracuse. So
He's telling the stories that his whole family, the whole tree was military background, but he wasn't, you know, and he missed the draft because he was at Syracuse and he got coded differently and didn't get drafted. And he just told that whole story and everything. Just me being a diehard Dolphins fan on top of it was just like, I'm just like, yeah, this is awesome, like, and everything, right? So you'll see a lot of interviews that I have with the athletes like that, but also showing the stories for a lot of stuff and a lot of B-roll footage from these shows. So a lot of stuff on the East Coast. You know, occasionally I do get to go out to the West Coast. You know, I've worked with Rizzo Sports and got to go out to the West Coast with them. And then went to Dallas for the first time this last year, Dallas in Culture Collision last year for the first time and everything. So ventured out there. I want to try to get out of the Midwest. You're going to see a little bit more traveling possibly this year because I am teaming up with the Tri-City Chili Peppers that are right here below Richmond. They do the Cosmic Baseball. I've done some of that, showed some of that footage on Instagram and stuff. So I'm going to be traveling with them because they're traveling for the first time. They're going to go to Toledo, Ohio. They're going up to Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, Nashville. They're going to somewhere in Texas. They're, I think, going Indy. They're going all over the places. And they've sold out AAA stadiums to do this Cosmic Baseball. Just think of Cosmic Bowling, but under the black lights, but baseball. If you go to my page, you'll see some of the stuff. It's incredible. It's like once you see a game like this, it's like I don't want to watch any. It's like it's wild.
yeah, that's crazy stuff.
But yeah, so I'll be all over this weekend coming up. You know, I'm going to be at Virginia Beach. Actually, no, this weekend coming up is Raleigh. At the end of the month is a Virginia Beach show. All within this 2-hour range in Richmond, Virginia. You know, there's a lot of the shows I do around here, and I'm actually setting up as a vendor. You know, I don't get to set up as a vendor as much. Some of these shows I try to pick and choose. You know, bam, I can actually set up because I have 3 tables worth of products. I have not products, but value boxes and showcases and stuff like that. And there's some of the best, so I've been told. So yeah. So if you're in the Raleigh area this weekend, 4th and the 5th, stop by. You know, Inside Pitch Promotions setting up the show. It's going to be a good 2-day show.
There you go. Get a little rested in there too. Mix in a nap. I'm a nap guy, so I like to mix in a nap when I can, Alex. But hey, man, I appreciate you're a busy guy, as I said. Appreciate you making some time for Sports Card Nation, and we'll have you as long as you come back. We'll have you back again as well.
We'll always come back. I always have a good time.
All right. Good to hear. Thanks, Alex. Awesome dude right there. And I don't know how he does it, man. You know, getting that energy. But former military guy, he knows the grind, so does it with ease. And, you know, if you're at a show that he's at, definitely go up to him and say hi and You know, he's a great ambassador for the hobby, right? I know I use that, the 2 A words, right? Ambassador and advocate, and I think he kind of checks both of those boxes. So glad to have him on. We'll have him back too. There was some stuff we didn't even get to, so look for him maybe in the future back on another episode. All right, we're going to hear from our Hobby is the People announcer and some closing thoughts and wrap up this week's episode.
Time for our Hobby is the People announcer of the week.
Hello, Sports Card Nation. This is Al from Iconic Baseball. Keep collecting, stay iconic, and above all else, remember that the hobby is the people.
If you'd like to be the Hobby is the People announcer of the week, do a WAV or MP3 file and send it to sportscardnationpc@gmail.com.
That's a wrap for this week. Huge thanks to you, the listeners out there, because without you, there is no us. If you like the show, we truly appreciate positive reviews. Big ups to our great guests who drive the show and our awesome sponsors who make it all possible. Sports Card Nation will be back next week, but don't forget to catch either Hobby Quick Hits or Card Mentions coming up on Monday. I'll leave you with this. How do we change the world? One random act of kindness at a time. Remember, the hobby is the people.
For nearly 50 years, Sports Collectors Digest has been the voice of the hobby, bringing you comprehensive coverage of the sports collectible industry. From industry news, auction results, market analysis, and in-depth stories about collectors and their collections, Sports Collectors Digest has everything you need to know about the hobby. SCD is also your leading source for listings of sports collectible dealers, card shops, card shows, and the latest from the industry's top companies. To check out all the latest news or to subscribe to the hobby's oldest magazine, visit sportscollectorsdigest.com or call 1-800-829-5561.
Hobby Hotline is the hobby's only live interactive call-in show. Join some of your favorite hobby personalities every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, to discuss the hottest hobby topics. If you miss us live, catch us after the fact on all major podcast platforms. Follow us on socials at Hobby Hotline.